This luxury SUV next to me is definitely a head turner. Tom here with Go Auto, and next to me in the Go Garage is a vehicle that proves luxury doesn't mean expensive. It's the updated 2026 Genesis GV70, and the updates are most notable inside the cabin. And that most notable design change is going to be the technology in the vehicle, and that starts with this 27-inch OLED display, the same kind of OLED that you have in your TVs at home, except now it's in front of you as the driver and your infotainment system, all connected in a seamless way. And this vehicle is perfect for it because right now on the home screen, you have your navigation system tucking away behind the driver's display, and it just blends perfectly into one screen because it is. For the main infotainment system, it's basically the exact same as generations prior for Genesis, and that's a really good thing because it's not only super easy to use and go through, but it's also very fast and responsive. You get things like your Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, as well as your Maps, Media, and Sirius XM, everything that we're already used to. But the big one to go over is setup and settings. Genesis made this genius with something called 3D setup, and I love this system because if you don't know the name of the exact thing you're wanting to fix, this system just tells you how to do it. For example, I want to fix something in ambient lighting, so I'm going to go see inside. You see the system integrate itself to look exactly as the interior as this vehicle. I want something in vehicle settings, so I click on that, and I'm going to scroll down to lights. But now in here, I have driver assistance, heads-up display, cluster, climate, the list goes on, but lights is right there. And that's where I can adjust my ambient lighting. It's so easy. I can click onto it, I can dim it in the dark, link it to drive mode, adjust brightness, or change the color. And I love this because the ambient lighting is basically connected to the contrast stitching on the vehicle, but through the aluminum and the air vents. It goes from shoulder to shoulder, from driver to passenger, and it's just beautiful in this vehicle. Now this is incredible because you have a little scroll wheel here that can control this side, or I can control the infotainment here, but I can also use this dial, which allows me to change the display layout as an entire system. I can not only jump into it and change things from more numbers to a more analog, futuristic display, but I'm also able to have my assistant system show up or just current trip information. It's beautiful. And from your angle specifically, you might notice this gloss black plastic thing sticking out right there. I don't really know how to describe the look of it, but what I do know is what its purpose is, and that's actually for driver awareness because this vehicle has a form of autonomous driving built into it. It's called the Highway Driving Assist System, and it is phenomenal. What you do is you actually have your adaptive cruise control and lane steering system all at once, but it gets even more advanced than that. Your blind spot camera, and one of my favorite things about this blind spot camera feature is because if you've gone to the gym, your traps are all sore and you can't really turn your neck over that well, this blind spot camera gives you that second set of eyes in one of the most vulnerable spots in vehicles on the highway. And I love that Genesis offers that for this vehicle and for their entire lineup. Now moving on from the infotainment and the driver's display, I have to mention a couple more screens. You got a heads-up display right here. This mirror can actually be digital just by a flick of a switch, and you get a climate control screen down here. But this one's pretty interesting. It's not a regular touch screen, it's actually a haptic screen. So if you want to turn the temperature up, you got to treat it like buttons. Same with the heated and the ventilated seats. I love that features like that because it makes you want to actually push the button rather than just swipe things through. It's really more of an intuitive feature, and I love that. But above that is your haptic buttons for your shortcuts on the infotainment system. So if you want to open up Maps, you simply push Map and a full display comes up, blending into two like we've shown before. Track buttons forward and backwards, set up your hazards, obviously still a regular button. And the tuning and volume knob is really nice to the touch in this vehicle, and the buttons for it have this nice concave feel to them, really giving it a premium finish for dials you probably don't use too often. The same dials are actually on your temperature up and down, although they're hollowed out, so it's kind of like this weird ring sitting inside, but it's really cool. And below all this in your center console is going to be your drive mode selector. You push it forward to change your drive modes, but you can actually press it down to change your terrain modes from snow, mud, and sand. Pushing it back into your regular drive modes, the left buttons for your auto stop start, parking sensors, and then your surround view camera. And this surround view system is phenomenal. Not only is it super high quality, but it also allows you to do something called 360 or 3D tour, where you can see the exterior of the vehicle from a third-person perspective. Something a lot of vehicles are starting to do, and I think this is one of the best. But Below that right here, you have 2 dials. Now, it's pretty similar to the cup holders on the left and right in terms of symmetry, but it's really nice because you actually have your infotainment dial right here with your back, home, and menu button up top. It also allows you to go forward and back, right and left. This is perfect for when you don't want to get fingerprints on the touchscreen. You can just change what you need in the infotainment without even touching the buttons. Now, below that is your gear selector, and don't worry, you're not going to get these two confused without looking because they're very different in terms of material and feel, and the infotainment one is a lot easier to slide, where this one kind of got to put a little more effort into it without actually being hard to turn. You turn right to go into drive, turn left for reverse, and P for park is right there. Now you might notice this little button right here. That's actually not a button. That's a fingerprint scanner because you can place your finger on there and the vehicle will register you by your fingerprint and program everything in the car to your liking. Your seat controls, your steering wheel position, mirrors, driver's display, infotainment, climate, everything. It all gets programmed just with a touch on your fingerprint. How genius is that? Another thing that's pretty genius too is going to be the wireless charger, because the first thing you do when you get out of any vehicle is take your phone out of your pocket. It's nice and easy to place it right there without even having to think about it. Your center console is pretty easy to get into. You got a little cubby right here, which is perfect for gift cards or change. And the down below, it's actually a pretty decent size for a vehicle in this size segment. You do get 2 USB-Cs and a 12-volt socket down there. The next big thing to talk about is going to be overall quality of this interior. These seats are so nicely comfortable, and they have this nice orange piping and stitching contrast which match those seat belts, really giving it a bold look in this vehicle without overdoing you with vibrant orange inside. But something that is quite vibrant is the leather in this vehicle. It's all premium leather materials from your seat, center console, dashboard, even onto your doors. And it's the exact same back here. The doors weren't skipped out at all. You got nice contrast stitching all the way through, leather up top, down below, and on the armrest as well. But one thing that these doors have that the front don't are built-in privacy shades. Now, the one thing I love with these privacy shades is how easy it is to actually bring them up. I find myself having to do 2 or 3 takes in these videos, where with this, I mean, it's my 4th time in a row and I got it right. But we'll skip past that. In terms of leg room and foot room, there's ample back here. Adults can easily sit back here, and if more space is needed, you can actually move forward and recline and fold forward the seat up here, giving yourself ample space to nap out, and you can even recline the seat to make it even better. Just make sure the kids don't know about those buttons, so that way they're not messing with mom when she's having a nap. But something they do want to know about is this center console right here, which folds down to give you 2 cup holders. And down below, in terms of power, you got a wall outlet and 2 USB-C ports. No corners were cut back here, and nothing has been skipped over, making it an excellent backseat experience. Now, for exterior design, the most recognizable GV70 trait and Genesis lineup is going to have to be the taillights and the headlights, because this design language here is twin LED lines on either side rather than your more common light bar going across the middle. This helps make it recognizable at nighttime, and to help with that is going to be the Genesis nameplate across the middle. You also get other names like GV70 and the all-wheel drive and engine trims on the corners there to help give it that little elevated design and character back here. In the next part, you're probably thinking that the latch to open's down there. That's where your hand gets all dirty from all the mud and grime buildup. Genesis thought of that, because the GV70 has it right here for you. Push that button and the lift gate opens up for you, and you're greeted to not only a tremendous amount of space here, but a large opening. It's really wide and low. That makes loading heavier things like full hockey bags easier, because you don't need to lift it up nearly as high. Just toss it in, it's nice and easy. And with the wide opening, you're not worried about scratching or damaging any of the paint on the vehicle. But the overall trunk space is tremendous. Not only is it lined in nice soft carpets, you get a 12-volt socket, anchor points, and if you're loading bigger things, the latches allow you to fold down these seats effortlessly, making it easier to load things into your vehicle and not needing to borrow your buddy's truck. Now, the view from your angle right now has to be my favorite in my opinion, because of all the design cues that this vehicle offers. For example, your hood line is actually a body line that flows over to the side and over the rear of the vehicle. And the wheels give a very sporty vibe without being race car-like. They do, however, have 2 black stripes going across each fin, which really help them stand out from the crowd. But I'll leave it to you in the comments if you prefer this look over a full 1 monotone color. Up front, however, you get the same twin line design for your daytime running lights, and I love that Genesis has somehow allowed full LEDs to be in such a small area, because most vehicles nowadays have a giant bulb and a large casing. To add to that, They also have a gorgeous front grille. It's definitely large, but it's very unique. Genesis calls it your double mesh G-Matrix grille. Now it's kind of a funky name, but it's definitely worth the title. You got this beautiful two-tone gloss black on bronze tones to it, and your surround view camera's tucked away up top with your adaptive cruise control down below. And a really nice touch with it is that the logo is not on the grille, it's uninterrupted. Your Genesis badge is actually up top here on the hood, with the wings flaring out, giving you more body curves along the hood, really giving it that elegant flying design. The 2026 Genesis GV70 is a vehicle without compromise. You get the best in luxury, tech, and safety, all under one roof. And to learn more about it, visit goauto.ca or any of their Genesis dealerships.